What's up, guys? Tambo here with your Week 6 Core Report. It's an exciting time to be a Run Pure Sports member as we parlay another big week of winning with the start of the NBA season. Here's a recap of last week. No sports were off limits for winners this past week. Relay 20 hit for $8K on the NASCAR slate. Brad Combe won $5K in an MLB playoff slate. Max Hankins gave a preview of what members can expect, shipping for $21,000 in NBA preseason. BigT had another big week, hitting for over $37,000 in CFB. For the NFL main slate, GK 2400 won over $10K on FanDuel, while our guy Locks shipped an NFL Live final seat. But the biggest wins came on Monday Night Football, when the top of the leaderboard was littered with RPS logos again. JSU led the way with his core plays featuring Captain Austin Eckler and Justin Herbert and Joshua Palmer in the flex. His winning lineup was topped off with Russell Wilson and Dustin Hopkins, as well as low-owned $200 Greg Dulcich, who was talked up big on our free Monday Night Football Showdown show by special guest Chris Rando.
He's fast. He runs like a 4.7 40, and he can actually play the slot. He gives very difficult matchup situations. He's fast. He's got hands. Don't be surprised tonight if maybe he's out there in the mix and, he gets, a few catches and, who knows what happens.
This is your weekly reminder to head on over to our YouTube page and hit subscribe to access all of our great free content. Our guy Johnny AirPods wasn't the only one repping RPS at the top, shipping for over $50K. Matt Attack Lax ran the same lineup twice, shipping for over $95,000. Phil Mike's Bra also shipped for $10,000, while Nuggets hit for $14,000. Now is the time to join us. Head on over to runpuresports.com and sign up for a membership today. Again, all sports are included for one price, and NBA starts this week. You won't want to miss out when our team gets hot during hoop season. Remember, you're not winning with us, you're watching us win. Till next time, let's keep running pure.
It is the Old Guys Pod. Ah, yes. JT Hayes, Uncle Tizzy, and Spread a Stare, who once again has not murdered anybody for multiple weeks. JT, we missed you last week, man. Talk to us. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm a little dubious on the Spread a Stare not murdering anyone for a couple of weeks. I don't know if you guys saw this story, but there was a serial killer operating in Stockton, California. I'm pretty convinced they got the wrong guy. And I mean, look at him. Look at Spread. He's got his hair up.
Has there been any murders since he was caught?
He's got his hair up like alfalfa. I mean, he is happy as a pig in shit right now, knowing that someone else is gonna go and ride in the electric chair out there, and he'll give it a couple of weeks now, and then he's gonna go to a different location and start killing. There's no question that's what's going on here.
Stockton. How far are you from Stockton, Spread?
He's right in the middle of Stockton.
45 minutes south. Yeah.
Yeah. Right in striking territory. Uncle T is here. Uncle T, I must ask you this most important question. Who did you play head-to-head in golf from RPS? Was it Mangone? Did you go head-to-head with Mangone, with JSU? There's a whole Niehaus versus the other guys thing going on.
Yeah, first off, Holden, let me take a step back. JT wanted to get on Spread about his hair. I'd like to, in turn, maybe make a comment on yours. That might be the single worst hair job done on a show in three. That is awful.
Yeah. You have a fucking mustache.
You were up late last night. Hey,
you got a mustache. Who the fuck are you talking to about?
I mean,
grooming?
Again, it's perfectly groomed every show. There's never anything out of place. You, on the other hand, I mean, did you have the lady over late last night?
Yes.
Okay, because I know there was some talk in chat earlier about how often you bring up the fact that you have a girlfriend, and we find that kind of strange that you bring it up every show. Yeah. So
what should I do?
Not mention it.
I have a girlfriend.
I mean, you're taking a victory lap because
I don't think I've taken a shower either since probably 2 days. So Uncle T, thanks for going down that path. Appreciate it. Now, do you want to talk about what was going on with this golf thing, please?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what the confusion was. I mean, I posted it on Twitter, but yeah, I mean, I believe it or not, I got set up, I think, by my nephew. I think I got set up a little bit by Big T and JSU a little bit. So we were on our way to the golf course on Friday, and we were in Big T's, Big Red, as we call it, the big truck, and we were trying to figure out equal sides, or at least as comparable of equal sides to make a wager as we could. And JSU says, well, what will you shoot? And I said, I'll shoot in the upper 80s or low 90s. Big T right away, oh, no, you'll shoot better than that. Well, I shot a 92, so I was dead on my score. And then I in turn said, if I had to lay an over or under on Big T score today, it would be 75. Do you want over or under? And Big T says, oh, I haven't played in 2 months. I'm never going to. He shot a 75. So I was right on both of them. The bad part was JSU's only been playing for 3 months, and we thought maybe Mangone could somehow pull out a victory over JSU, since the guy just picked up a club for the first time 3 months ago, and we were wrong again. And JSU definitely was not good, but he was better than Mangone. So they stuck me with Mangone. They made me drive with Mangone, and I was fetching his balls all day. I had to go in the damn woods and find his ball all day. So anyway, I was set up holding. It cost me $100. I wasn't happy about it, and I'm going to get revenge.
You got sandbagged.
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. Equally as unfortunate as how is your postseason going without the Braves, JT?
Yeah, that was disappointing, but I mean, congratulations to the Phillies. They just were scorching the ball. They beat the piss out of Atlanta pitching, and the only group of people more disappointed than Braves fans are the people in MLB headquarters. That you've got the Phillies and the Padres. At least for them, the Yankees still made it, but man, it's an uphill battle against this Houston team. So good season for Atlanta, some key injuries down the stretch, but listen, they get to this point with guys overperforming. Michael Harris comes up and looks like just an incredible season he put together for a rookie. Spencer Strider, incredible season. Vaughn Grissom filled in. Maybe a little bit different if they had Ozzie and they had a healthy Strider, but at the end of the day, they did not. And the Phillies took advantage, and they looked like last night they're just going to keep rolling. I mean, what a performance last night by Zach Wheeler. Harper has been hot as we've seen him this season, and even Kyle Schwarber. I mean, that home run was just mammoth. If he heats up, it's going to be difficult to put away.
I will say this about the World Series if Philly makes it. It's finally the opportunity for Bryce Harper to get marketed by Major League Baseball. Now, I don't trust that they're going to do it right, but I think Harper's going to get eyeballs. I do.
You know what's astonishing about that, Holden, is that I remember when Bryce Harper was like 15 years old, 16 years old on the cover of Sports Illustrated. This kid was in high school. How do you lose that momentum? I mean, I guess maybe getting drafted by the Nationals and them being a terrible team for a long time, but still, it's the hate on him. He just, when you watch him play, he is, if you look up baseball player in the dictionary, there should be a picture of guys like him next to it, because he played the last month of the season through a fractured finger. He's still fractured wrist, whatever it was. And it's just, I don't understand why people hate him. I just love watching him play. And the fact that he's hot now, you're right. I think it is potentially good for baseball if they could figure it out.
All right. Uncle T, you were shaking your head. Yeah, I would love to see Bryce Harper on the national stage. Again, I don't know if MLB could sell it, but if they can, this guy is so polarizing. He's so great. He really is.
Yeah, I'm fully in line with what JT just said. I mean, this guy, we've been we've been watching this guy, a kid, really since again that time when he was highly touted, coming out of high school and such. And again, he's finally getting his due, if you will. And I don't know that they'll market it right, but more importantly, I think I'm a Reds fan here, so I get kind of, I don't get spoiled like the other big markets do with these teams in the playoffs every year. But Phillies are a team that, we play DFS all year long, obviously, JT and Spread. I know you do a little bit. We were waiting on this type of a team and this type of a run. At least I was, all year long from this Phillies team. And they just never were able to show any consistency throughout the year. They get into the playoffs. Now they're on a little bit of a run. They've got a lot of momentum. They've got two stud pitchers. I was on Wheeler most of the year when some guys weren't. And I'm not saying he was great every time. And I've always liked Aaron Nola. So if you read a lot of my articles and things that I did throughout the year with the playbook, I've been on these Phillies. It just hasn't always worked out throughout the year. But yeah, they're riding really high. I do think the Padres, a little bit different take than JT. We were talking pre-show. I do think the Padres may get them today. I think Blake Snell is going to be good enough to maybe come through. Maybe not. Again, Phillies are hot, but yeah, I definitely agree with JT on the Bryce Harper take.
So some other things that are going on in everybody's life here. Spread a stare, by the way. Hello, Spread. Spread is grinding away on the NBA playbook. They got so much going on over there. Maybe NFL, I'm not sure. But when we did the Picking Winners show, you and me and Mangone, you told me you had a story to share. Is this true?
Yeah, I don't know how exciting it will be, but if you enjoy me making bad decisions, I'll keep it quick.
Yeah.
So, I'm normally a pretty even keel
You didn't
guy.
wash the area down with Clorox after the murder.
I'm normally a pretty even
rid of
keel
the
guy.
The
really
boot print that they
nice.
have might match. Oh my God, Spread. That's serial killer 101.
Come on, Spread.
I'm usually so nice. I can't believe you guys would think that I would kill someone. I mean,
That's exactly what they all say.
I do get stressed out sometimes, and I do kind of, not make the best decisions and get stubborn, right? So Friday night, I wanted to go for a hike because I'm going to start up and I'm going to be doing some work in the afternoons, and I'm not going to be able to hike as much, right? But everything was just going wrong. Like the shows were running late. I didn't get my work done in time. I drive out. I hit traffic because they're working on the road on the way to the trailhead. So I don't get to the trailhead till like 4 something p.m. Right? But I'm thinking
the police checkpoint. Yeah.
Yeah. I got this headlamp that I bought that I've never used. Well, I could try it out tonight and see what it's like at nighttime. And normally I love hiking, and it's absolutely great. Let me tell you, hiking at night is so scary. I was so scared. I have seen a bear during the daytime. I've seen a bear, and I was less scared seeing a bear in the daytime than I was hiking around at night. I mean, it was the closest thing to like when you're young and you're like doing all those drugs. I mean, it's like being on acid. I was so scared out there. It's like, I need to tell my mom I love her before I die. I had to call her on the way home and let her know, like, hey, if something ever happens to me. So that was my latest adventure in bad decision making in order to really produce some excitement in my life, because I'm not like Holden where I get to brag about having a girl over.
I have a girlfriend.
And obviously you guys have such a great time that you're so tired you can't even comb your hair the next day. Like I said, it's the continual evolution to an anime character, Holden. Like it's even more spiky since the last show that we did together.
Yeah, I'll do it up for NBA.
Here's a guy trying to convince us that he's not a serial killer, telling us that he got a headlamp recently and he's going hiking at night.
Yeah.
I'm not going hiking at night anymore. No.
Hey, did you said you did acid?
Like when I was like 20.
I've never done it. I don't think any of us have done acid except for you.
Yeah, I guess I'm the only one there. Yeah.
You're
I had long hair when I was young, Holden.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Did you have a mullet or was it straight?
I had dreadlocks.
Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here with that.
All right. I'll send you a picture.
Spread, you also wanted to talk about gas station marijuana, to which I am completely against this. JT, Uncle T, in Florida, okay, of all places, I didn't even know it was going to be legal there. Gas stations are now going to be selling marijuana. And surprisingly, you wouldn't think this, but I think that is absolutely unacceptable. Okay. We don't need marijuana or beer in the gas station.
That was just my argument. If you're going to sell beer,
no beer
at the
either.
Gas station,
you pop a beer, you're drinking a beer on the way home. My kids
so
don't need to go
you
to
don't
gas
want
station
Circle K and AM PM to have a beer.
Yeah, no, don't do it when you're driving. There's liquor stores.
Do you know how much you're going to shut down our economy doing that?
No, they'll be fine. You'll still go to the gas station. They're charging you 10 times more. I don't want my kids seeing weed at freaking 7 years old. They don't need to see it in a gas station.
They just see it in your room?
Nope. I got a safe. I got a safe. JT, thoughts?
It's tough for me because I do think, I guess I'm in the minority of people in this country now where I think that, people starting to smoke this stuff in their teen years all the way up through adulthood. Bad. It can only have a debilitating effect on someone. And I I don't think it's good for society. There's a lot of things that are going on in society that I don't think are good. So for me, I mean, I would prefer this whole thing, like, it's a mess, right? It's a mess because they still can't actually bank their money. And that's a separate issue. So yeah, I would actually, I find it's rare, but I would kind of side with you. I would like to see the number of places where you can acquire marijuana limited, you know, to a degree. But I think that boat has sailed, especially with these states and cities in a lot of trouble. So they're looking, and that's the problem, right? That's why we're seeing the expansion of marijuana, you know, casinos on every corner, is because the governments don't know how to manage their money, and they're just looking to get more.
Yeah, taxes are good out of it. Spread. You said you were just playing devil's advocate with me then, right? You don't need weed in a freaking gas station.
Just saying, if you sell beer there, like, what's the difference?
But I don't think they should sell beer there. I think we should go back to Puritan times.
You want to go back to Puritan times?
Yes.
You know that they combed their hair back then.
Oh, you know what they did back then? They wore wigs. They wore wigs.
Right,
I'm pretty sure someone at RPS wears a wig too. I can't tell you who it is, but I'm pretty sure there's one guy that
someone at RPS wears a wig.
Yeah, they wear a wig. A hairpiece.
Like without the intention of having other people know that it's a wig.
Correct. I think he has a hairpiece.
Really?
I think there's one person with a hairpiece.
Are you going to have the stones to name that person now?
No, and it's not me. Look, I'll pull my.
No, yours. Yeah, no, yours is real. Yours is real.
Okay, Uncle T. Let me ask you a question about this. Do you know the person that works with us that has a hairpiece?
No one has a hairpiece.
I'm telling you, there's somebody that works with us.
Is it
a hairpiece?
Is it new hire, or is it someone that's been here for a while?
I think it's someone that's been here for a little while.
Does he work behind the scenes, or is he on?
I can't say behind the scenes or on camera, but I'm pretty damn sure there's a hairpiece floating around here.
Simon doesn't have enough hair to have a hairpiece, right?
Oh, Simon was the first person that popped in your mind, huh?
Well, no, we're talking about people behind the camera, and right. We're doing process of elimination, right?
I mean, we only have two people behind the camera. It's Helmet and Simon.
Follow me on this, right? It's not Draft Sheet because he had to shave his head because he lost a bet to me. So it's definitely not him.
Okay.
That was when Matt Chapman took Shane McClanahan deep for everyone.
Okay.
Beautiful day. It's not Mangone because it's kind of sparse up there.
Yeah. It's not you.
It's obviously not me.
Uncle T, will you lift your hat, please?
Oh, it's definitely not me. Mine's all gray.
Hair. I'd wear a hat.
Let me pull it.
You. Yeah, it's not coming out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that what you ask? Is that what you ask the guys to do?
It's not coming out. Take it.
Give it a tug. Give it a tug.
So, process of elimination. I'm just saying, if you're in the comments section, first of all, thank you to the guy that writes mushroom stamp, and then he tells everybody when the show starts, talk about football, right? So he actually listens to the first 28 minutes, and then he says when it is, and I really appreciate that. I think that's wonderful.
Speaking of the comments,
yeah,
I listened. It was difficult to listen, but I listened to this show last week, and there was someone who was taking umbrage with my thought process on Aaron Judge's MVP.
Who?
Someone in the comments.
You don't remember reading that comment out last week, Holden?
Oh, yeah, there was one about JT.
Someone said JT doesn't know baseball.
That's right. Didn't I say that
you can't? Isn't that amazing, JT, that you can't say I disagree with him there because he disagrees with you on one thing. You don't know anything about the whole sport, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's just unbelievable how we take these things nowadays. Where if you disagree on one thing, you don't know baseball, blocked, unfollowed. Unfollow me if you don't think Steph Curry's top 5 all time. I mean, unbelievable. Our discourse in the society. Didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead and respond to the great listener, and hopefully he's listening this week.
No, I mean, you're right. First of all, right, you can't disagree because in some parts of the world or the country now it ends in a shooting. So I try and be really nice to everyone. But yeah, so first of all, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I appreciate that. And I guess my point, I don't really have a lot to add on to, except that the Angels are a last place team. The Yankees are a first place team. Now, I would say if you wanted to argue that Shohei Ohtani is the most outstanding player in the game, Yeah. All right. I'm with you on that. He's the most outstanding player. But in terms of value to team, if you look at the goal of at least getting into the playoffs, then the Yankees are 1 and the Angels are nothing. So the value of 0 is 0, and therefore Judge has more value to the Yankees. But if you wanted to say that Shohei was most outstanding, yeah, I would go and say absolutely.
Quite an outstanding individual. Yes. And that's kind of a tiebreaker, isn't it? Because you can make it's the tiebreaker is Judge is actually having high pressure at bats on multiple levels. A, because of the chase, and B, because his team was trying to, they kind of cruised, but still trying to get to the playoffs and have the best seeding possible.
Are you talking on 1.5x right now?
Who?
No, he's just not stoned.
Oh, that's good call. Good call, Spread.
I got to do NBA.
He's got to
today.
work today.
Yeah.
While you guys were talking, I'm sitting there going through the whole roster that we got on RPS. It's got to either be one of three. It's got to be one. It's got to be one of three people. It's got to be either captain. You said it is he on?
No. Hey, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
I'm gonna say captain. Man, Hoop.
Okay.
No,
Or
Hoop.
Well, I mean, I'm just going through the list here.
Okay.
I mean, it can't be too many other people.
Give me another one. Not Glock either.
No, I mean, Rubio's too young to ever have a hairpiece, but
Kurt's too poor to have a hairpiece.
Them two, Holden, Hoop, or
me, Hoop, and Captain out of the three.
I don't know who it is. Susie?
You also got to throw the guys in on the bet side. It can't just be the sports side.
Oh, you didn't tell me they were.
I think we got to throw Fax Man in.
Oh,
it's
Joey Work.
Joey does wear a hat all the time. Joey wears a hat.
I've never seen a wig. He wouldn't wear a hat.
His hair. I don't. If you have a hairpiece, I don't think you wear a hat as much as Joey Work does.
No.
I don't think you wear a hat. Fax Man has got to be in this. JJ not in it. Not in it. JJ's not in it. So process of elimination, we're down to 3. You may have had one, the person that I think you may have, and you may not have.
Jesus.
I kind of think I know who it is, but if Holden doesn't have the stones, I'm not going to help him out.
Okay, don't help me out. I mean,
tell me in a private message here, Holden. I'll bring it up.
I'm not sending you a private message. You got to figure it out for yourself.
I just gave you the list of people.
Somebody at RPS has a hairpiece. We need to get to the bottom of it, and that person needs to be outed. So,
I mean, it depends on who it is. I'm not gonna,
Why? So let me ask you this. First of all, these are our coworkers. We love them. Why would you do this? If you're getting a hairpiece, you obviously feel very self-conscious about the fact that you're not hirsute up top.
Right.
I could give a shit less about it, obviously. But
of course.
I mean, why would you want to hurt somebody's feelings?
That's why I have not said who it is. I've not released
brought it up, and now
the actual person.
By the way,
Is
you keep
anyone
talking about
else
how many people watch and listen to this. It's going to be a raging topic now.
Right. It should be a raging topic. That's why I decided to say it.
Depending on who it is, I don't mind outing them.
Oh,
you don't mind what?
I don't mind outing them or bringing it up. I don't mind.
Okay.
Hey, as long as they don't sign my paycheck, I don't give a damn.
Uncle T is talking shit. I like it.
I didn't say I would. I said depending on who it was.
Depending on who it was.
Yeah, I mean, if it was you, I'd immediately say something.
Just other people I'd like to throw into the hat. K. Fallick. Any chance?
I saw K. Fallick this past weekend. It does not look like he's got one, but
not K. Fallick.
Unless he didn't bring it with him from Tennessee. I mean, or he left it in his car.
Could you imagine that? Fucking guy brings us.
I got a story about K. Fallick. Can I bring up? I know you guys are wanting to get to football. Can I bring up a story about K. Fallick?
Please.
So we got JSU and Mangone in from Thursday to Sunday, and K. Fallick drives up from Tennessee early Sunday morning. Gets there at about 11:30. We're building teams, building winners. So he's in the house, Big T's house, not 10 minutes, right? Not 10 minutes. We get a knock on the door. The cops are here. They're getting ready to tow this car that just parked outside. And we're like, what are you talking about? Towing a car? What are you talking about? We go out there. K. Fallick parks on the wrong side of the road. So I don't know what's worse, him parking on the wrong side of the road or a neighbor of Big T's that called the cops that quick to tell him that he was parked on the other side of the road. They're getting ready to tow his car. So anyway, I thought that was kind of funny. It's like, I don't know. I should have probably let him just tow it. It was a loaner car or a rental car. We should have let him tow it. I thought that was pretty funny, Holden. You gave nothing.
Where's-
You didn't even give
what
me
is-
anything.
What is the funny part of that?
Well, why do you park on the wrong side of the road? 1 and 2. I thought it was pretty funny that a neighbor called him out and called the cops right away. You don't think that's funny?
I don't know. I mean, funny isn't the
Put
word.
him in timeout, Holden. That's bullshit. He just.
I don't
shit
find it
all over
funny
Uncle
either.
T's
You
story.
deserve to be in timeout. If anyone should go to timeout, it's you, because we're
Facts.
not getting that chunk of our
Oh,
lives.
it was a
back.
pretty good
Fred-
story.
Fred
The
is
boys
so
thought it was a
upset.
pretty good story.
Fred
Fred is
wasn't
so upset he-
listening. He's
No.
in the NBA book.
Brett is so upset he's putting on his surgical gloves.
Oh my gosh.
Fred, what is
Hey,
the best type of food?
join the old guys pod. Hey, get labeled as a mass murderer. I don't know.
Yeah, we didn't choose your
Not
fucking.
mass.
I don't know what to say.
I wouldn't call you a mass murderer, just like sporadic.
What?
No. Perfectly normal human beings get headlamps and go hiking at night. Yeah, no, it's fine.
Spread, anybody on the bet side you'd like to say has a hairpiece? Who's up for a hairpiece?
No, I've never
Then we
even
can move
thought
on.
about this. I've never thought about this.
Right.
And
I
I'm
just
trying to think
watched
what's
this
worse.
person
I'm trying to
recently.
think what would be worse. Let's say you're just like a normal,
Right.
outdoorsy type guy, and you get labeled a mass murderer, or you're really ashamed about the fact you're losing your hair and you get outed. I can't think.
Definitely the
Number
hairpiece
two.
guy.
Number 2.
Definitely the hairpiece
I'm
guy.
thinking Joey Work.
Joe. So that's
Joey's
it.
gonna be
One vote for
pathetic.
Joey Work. Okay. Uncle T's official prediction is Joey Work.
No, I didn't say that. Let me
You
go
just
back.
did. You said I think it's Joey
I
Work.
like Joey though.
It's fine. You can like Joey, but you accused this young man of lying about his hair.
I mean, to be
JT.
fair, you're setting us all up here, but go ahead.
JT, please, can you give us one person that I should keep on this list? Should it be Joey Work, Captain, Hoop, or Faxman? And
No,
anybody?
I can't. I don't want to hurt the feelings.
All right, just say Faxman.
But now you're getting me thinking. I just thought of someone else. It could be.
Oh, who?
So it's just no. I'm not going to say. I'm not
What's
gonna-
his favorite sport?
It doesn't matter.
What's his best sport?
It does. Well, I mean, I'm not going to say.
What color is his hairpiece?
I mean, it could be changing. It could have multiple hair pieces
Rotating hairpieces,
depending on the season. You never know.
like Morty from Goodfellas.
A seasonal piece, if you
Yeah.
will.
Yeah, actually, that's a great idea. If I
Isn't
didn't
it?
have such beautiful hair, I would have seasonal pieces. Before we get to
Great
football,
show so far, Holden. In the comments, people need to write down: do we like sober instigating Holden, or do we like stoned Holden that doesn't pay attention and just serves nudes of 90s pop stars while we're all
dude,
talking?
I'm telling you, you got me
Decide
on
which one we
Britney
should
Spears.
get.
She looks amazing. That body is a 10, bro.
So that's one thing. I think there should be 2 other things. The second thing is comment who you think has the hairpiece at Run Pure Sports, and the third thing is yes or no question: is spread a
no, don't do that, Brad.
And if
Don't
so,
do that.
Guess the body count. Guess
No,
the body
don't do
count.
that. Don't leave that in the comments. Just a hairpiece thing.
Guess the body
And I
count.
want to say, none of us on this show have a hairpiece. I'm ripping my hair. Uncle T ripped his hair. Spread. Look at that.
Yeah, I got a little pop.
You don't
up
do
just
that
so
if you got a
guys know.
hairpiece.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look like alfalfa. And then, Jay,
All right, I'll put it down. It was just my way of kind of looking like I still have hair. I mean, I'm
You
gonna
look
be
unique. I like it.
JT, there's a
probably
lot
have-
of wigs that I
Yeah.
could buy at like a Halloween store. If I
Sure.
sent you one, would you wear it for a couple minutes on our show?
He'd have to lose a bet. To
I'm
do
gonna
that.
buy
He's
a
not gonna
wig.
Do it for no reason.
You,
But buy a
listen,
wig
You have
and
to
sell
beat him
it.
in a showdown slate or something.
I'm all about the show. I'm all
Yeah.
about the show. If you think the people would be, enlightened by it, if you think they would be entertained by it, and you send me a wig, I'll go ahead and I'll put it on. I'll put it on.
I'm
I
so
no problem
glad you
doing
didn't
that.
ask me.
What?
Why would you
So
say?
glad you
no?
asked him and
Scared of
not
wearing
me.
wigs?
You have hair, dude.
Yeah, I can still put a wig on.
No, he's gonna look great.
I'm gonna look fine.
I'm gonna give him a good one too. Not a perm, like a supreme comb over. By the way, I don't know if you saw this. It was a couple months ago. I had Jeff Passan on one of my shows, and I started by saying the picture that ESPN has of you is quite the comb over. And this guy went off for like 2 or 3 minutes on how he didn't have a comb over. People really get like very, very choked up. They get very angry when you talk about their hair. So
yeah, I mean, are we surprised here that the guy with the perfect head of hair that just cruise through life on his good looks is surprised when other people
not
are
good looking
sensitive
anymore,
about their physical stuff?
Not sure about the perfect look, but
the looks are definitely fading. That's what happens when you get older. They're definitely fading, and you just have to come to grips with it, Spread.
I refuse. I absolutely refuse. I'm going to be like the 60-year-old still trying to do stuff.
All right, let's get to the football portion. Mushroom Stamp guy, mushroom stamp this for us. We'd really appreciate it. Nice slate here. Some of the big names are not on the slate. Hurts, Allen, etc. We do have some pretty good quarterbacks, though. And Uncle T, I'm going to go to you first here. And I want to get a couple of names that you're initially looking at here. Early week builds. We got Jackson, we got Lamar, we got Mahomes. So we still have some pretty good quarterbacks. And we also have quarterbacks in good matchups, such as, I don't know, Dak Prescott coming back, Burrow against Atlanta. So a couple guys standing out to you early week.
Yeah, like you mentioned, some good options for sure. When you start up top here with Lamar, I know at times this rivalry with Cleveland at times has shot out, not every time, but at times that will shoot out. I don't know. I don't think Lamar is, you can play him or you cannot play him. I'm probably going to look to maybe not play him at this point in the week. Not for any other reason other than I'm going to mention a couple here in a minute that I think I'm going to be a little bit more interested in. Mahomes going up against San Francisco on the road, that's going to be a pass for me as well. I just respect the 49ers defense enough to where I don't want to play a $7,800 Patrick Mahomes. I have more interest in going to Justin Herbert here. 7,200 feels pretty cheap in obviously a really good matchup against Seattle. Obviously last week, take a step back, obviously the Seattle defense at home was able to crush the hearts of a lot of those Arizona backers last week and Kyler Murray. But I don't think they're going to be able to do it 2 weeks in a row here. I think Herbert coming off of obviously the very poor performance I thought against Denver on Monday night. He's in a nut spot here. He's in a big bounce back spot. Mike Williams was shut down by Surtain. I look for, you might have Keenan Allen back as well. That'll help as well. So I like Herbert, also like Joe Burrow. I thought he found something last week going down to New Orleans and playing the real good game. Got hooked up with Jamar Chase a couple times. So I really like that quite a bit. Going down just a little bit, even though he's been very poor so far this year, $6,000 for Aaron Rodgers in a matchup against Washington. It just feels like it's really cheap. Again, I like the ones I just mentioned, but $6K for Aaron Rodgers. I can't remember last time he was $6K. He's going to have one of these games where he does throw for 250 or 300 and 3 scores. I don't know if it'll be this week, but I do like that. And then going down, I'll let these guys get in. I don't want to name everybody, but one cheap guy. If we can believe last week that Matt Ryan may be able to put 2 good games back to back, he does have a good matchup here in Tennessee. I think they said he threw over 50 times last week and had 35 DK points or so. So if you're looking cheap, I don't mind Matt Ryan down there at 5,400, but I'm going to concentrate more holding up there with Herbert, Burrow, and then possibly Aaron Rodgers.
Then Lamar has a hip, just so everybody knows. And the other thing is he's just not as good without Bateman right now. You go look at the numbers with and without Bateman. Bateman stretches the field a whole bunch. So if Bateman comes back, I'm feeling good about Lamar. Then again, JT, gosh, I look at this Cleveland defense, and they're just a mess. And he has absolutely crushed the Ravens or the Browns. Here's the points that the Ravens have scored against the Browns here with Lamar in their last 4. 47, 38, 31, 25. And he's hit at least 58 yards on the ground. Just the matchup itself, Lamar has a great matchup. But again, the hip, and I think we got to find out about Bateman. Thoughts?
Yeah, when I looked at this game, the first thought that I had is if Lamar is healthy, as bad as this Cleveland rushing defense is, I mean, he really could smash here. I mean, he could smash. So he's in the mix for me. I like what Uncle T said about Herbert, especially with Keenan Allen likely coming back 6'7". I mean, I don't know. See, that's the thing. That's going to make the Chargers a little bit difficult this week because Austin Eckler is priced up now. He's 8.3, 20, 20, and 24 touches over his last 3 games, 16 targets against the Broncos in that game. But does that change with Keenan back? I think it's likely it does a little bit. So it's going to make them a little bit more difficult to project. I'm a little bit higher. I shouldn't say I am right now. I could be a little bit higher on Mahomes if Nick Bosa and Trent Williams are not back. That was the big issue with them in Atlanta this week. On Burrow, I'm kind of 50-50 right now. Atlanta has not been, and I said this on our Sunday morning off the chalk show, Atlanta has not been the terrible defense that they have been. They've got a number 1 cornerback right now that's done a pretty good job against these top receivers. So I still like some pieces of Cincinnati. I like Derek Carr's matchup against the Houston Texans at home. I think that could be a decent matchup for them. And then please don't play Matt Ryan. Please don't chase that game. Matt Ryan, so far in 2 games on the road, 4.8 fantasy points at Jacksonville, 8.14 fantasy points at Denver, 5 interceptions, 0 touchdowns. He will be outdoors in a divisional matchup. No thank you to Matt Ryan.
Yep. He's out. That's exactly what it is. He gets to go outside this week. He's had good games too, the last 3, but I don't want to mess with him outdoors either. And
that was the wildest game too, the way that shot out. And you know, if you're looking after the fact, I was looking for reasons why, and I'm like, well, I guess no Jonathan Taylor, no Naheem Hines. And so you end up with Pittman getting, 13, 14 targets there. He's hitting Deion Jackson out of the backfield. But now they're sort of a mess in terms of the running back room because all of them are questionable now. Jackson left that game early. So that's one to watch where it could be a really tough situation for Indianapolis on the road.
Spread, you want to talk about a quarterback or two?
Yeah, I completely agree on the Lamar Jackson and Mahomes not spending up there. Herbert, what a smash spot. If I'm spending up, that's where I'm going at 7,200. Joe Burrow, I'm not necessarily sold that this team has solved all their offensive problems, but at 6,900, definitely has to be considered. Whoever plays quarterback for Dallas, though, is someone that I want to get. Whether Dak at 6,700 would be okay, but if Cooper Rush were to play again at 5,400, I mean, I'm not necessarily thinking just because he had a bad game against the Philadelphia Eagles.
He ain't gonna play, Spread.
You think it's Dak for sure?
Yeah, he just got medically cleared like literally 2 minutes ago.
Okay. Well, then Dak at 6,700 has to be considered, but you got to think that's pretty a fair price for a guy coming back from injury. So still, Geno Smith, I know he didn't do good last week, right? And that game didn't blow out, and I stacked the game, and it cost me. But I'm not afraid to go back to that. I'm still surprised that he's not 6K. I would much rather have him than Tannehill, Lawrence, Goff, even Derek Carr. Although Derek Carr, maybe you can argue, that's a good spot for him. One thing that concerns me with Carr, the Raiders, I don't think have won off a bye since like 2016. So this team has struggled. Now, we know it's a different coach. I don't know how predictive that stat is, but that one would keep me off Carr. So if I'm going for value, I'm going for Geno there. Boy, I'm hoping I can get maybe Cooper Rush one more time there before. And then I agree. I'm not going to play Matt Ryan. I agree with you guys going outside. And I think Tennessee's a lot better than Jacksonville at this point. Give credit to the Colts, though. They didn't, they were able to keep a pretty good Jacksonville pass rush off Matt Ryan. If they can figure that out, they could be the team that people expected before the season started.
All right, make sure you hit the like button. We'd really appreciate that. You've made it to the.
Saying Prescott was not going to play?
No, he just got medically cleared.
Yeah. Okay.
He's playing. I mean, he'd have to have a setback not to play.
No, I think he's playing. I agree with you.
Yeah. So like button would be great. And then in the comments, who is the RPS member or RPS coordinator with the hairpiece? This person's not going to be happy. They're going to be nervous. Very nervous that it's them. Very nervous that it's them.
And you're not nervous about all these slander charges that are coming your way in 2 weeks?
Well, nobody in particular has been named.
What if we tested no one at RPS has a hairpiece? Are you worried
First
about
of all, you're not going to do
blowback?
that. Second of all, the only person to say definitively that someone has a hairpiece was Uncle T, and he threw Joey Work out there.
I don't know
Wow.
that anyone's got one. You're probably just setting us all up.
I like
so?
Holden's relentlessness on this. It's good
Yeah,
to see.
Yeah.
we're
I mean,
not
this is
gonna.
the wrong topic to be
Next thing he's
relentless
gonna
on
say that
because
he
these
saw
are our
extends
friends
in
and
the
coworkers.
background on one of our.
All right, we're not going to do that. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about running back. There's some. We still got values at running back again. Now, just a couple of things here. DeAndre Swift could be back. He went back to practice today. We just talked about Dallas. So it'll be a tough matchup. Josh Jacobs has life. He faces this awful Houston defense. Dameon Pierce, Lovey comes out once again and says, we got to get this guy 20 touches a game. So I think that's something. Deion Jackson's out of the circle of trust. If Taylor's back, here's who I want to ask you about, Uncle T. Kenneth Walker the third. He is 5.8K on DraftKings. He's getting all the work for Seattle. It's a high total game against the Chargers. And I was kind of impressed with them last week. 4.6 yards per carry. Did make a couple catches out of the backfield. So talk to me here. Any interest in Kenneth Walker the third this week?
Yeah, a lot of interest in Big Ken here. He draws obviously a really good matchup here. Denver wasn't able to run the ball as crazy as it was. The Chargers haven't been able to stop anybody in out of the backfield this year, and they were able to slow down Denver just because of the mess that is the Broncos backfield right now. But yeah, I have a lot of interest here in him. He's 5.8K. He will, I would think, guys like Josh Jacobs that we'll talk about. I think they're going to be two of the more popular guys for sure. But yeah, Kenneth Walker definitely is going to be on my radar. That's got a 51 total as well. And we'll talk throughout the rest of these two positions with tight end and wide receiver. We're going to probably like some guys and some pieces from this game. So yeah, definitely like him, but going up a little bit, just to kind of go back through the top. Eckler, JT mentioned it. He did get obviously a price bump here, $8,300. With the return of Keenan Allen, maybe he don't get as many touches or as many targets, but I do still think at 8,300, maybe it'll keep his ownership down just a little bit. So I still have a little bit of interest in him. And Henry here, Derrick Henry against Indianapolis feels like a smash spot. Obviously, it's a divisional game here where these two teams know each other quite a bit, but he's had some big games against these guys. And if you look at his last 3 weeks, 28 rushes, 22 rushes, 20 rushes, 30, 26, 25 DK points. He's been on a little bit of a run. And at, $8,200, I still feel like that's a fair price tag. So I like him a little bit. Saquon Barkley, I haven't really been on much. I was on him the first couple of weeks. He's been fine. Actually, he's been really good. I think I might hop back on him here. 7,900 going up against Jacksonville's run defense. Don't mind that at all. I mentioned Josh Jacobs earlier. He could be, at 6,500, he's been good all year. And now you get this Houston run defense that is just not good. The Las Vegas coming off of the bye. I look for Carr and Adams to be very good in this game. Also, from a run standpoint, I like Josh Jacobs, Bryce Hall. We've all been on him. At least I have the last 3 weeks. He was 5,200 a couple weeks ago. He's got an $1,100 or about $1,000 price jump in 3 weeks, but still a pretty good matchup here. 6,200. I don't mind him. And the only other guy I'll mention is Kenyon Drake, 5,100. Now, if you're trying to look and see if he could do that again, it all is going to depend on J.K. Dobbins. He came out of that game, I think, in the third quarter. Kenyon Drake came in and probably clearly had a ceiling game. I realize that. But if Dobbins is either ruled out or limited, I don't see any reason why Kenyon Drake at 5,100 isn't at least a solid play here against Cleveland.
All right. JT, who's top play on the board right now as we sit here midweek?
It's got to be Jacobs against this Houston defense. Jacobs, 18, 33, and 27 touches the last 3 weeks. He's getting targets out of the backfield. Up top, I kind of think Keenan Allen will eat more into Mike Williams. With Allen back, Williams is not playable at that 7.2 price tag on DraftKings. I agree with Uncle T. I do think as of right now, Eckler is someone that I'll be interested in. I also made a note here about Kenyon Drake that Dobbins is questionable for next week with a knee injury. So given again the state of this Cleveland defense, I think, and especially if Bateman is out again, that's gonna move them towards more of a rushing attack. For Walker that you guys talked about, I love Walker here. You mentioned it. Swift is practicing again. You mentioned the piece about Dameon Pierce. 22, 20, 29 touches his last 3 games, and Lovie Smith saying he must get 20 carries a game. If he's going to get 20 carries a game, it almost doesn't matter who he's playing against. But the Raiders, I'll take 20 carries against him. And then that's about it. There's some other fringe guys. I mean, I think Christian McCaffrey, it's going to be hard to play anybody on this Carolina team except the opposing defense with them in such disarray. You may get Jacob Eason starting this week. They just moved Robbie Anderson because he yelled at the coach. And quite honestly, there's probably 48 other players on that team that want to do the same thing. So good for Robbie to get out of that situation.
All right. So spread, here's the 2 guys really stand out to me. That'll be chalky. It'll be your Raider, Josh Jacobs, who's just really, he's had a breakout, I guess. Can we call it that? We haven't seen him at this level. And then Kenneth Walker. I think both of them will be kind of popular this week. Maybe Walker not quite as much. Who's the 2 guys that you're looking at?
If I'm willing to spend more money, I like Nick Chubb. I know that he did not get things done last week, but Baltimore, we normally think this is a stout defense. Look at their numbers this year. They haven't been that good against the run. Saquon Barkley, due to the injuries on the Giants wide receiver core, the offensive plan just seems to be get it to Saquon. And say sometimes getting simple is better because he's come through every single time. So at 800, 8,000 and 7,900, I like both those guys there. Then let's go down. You can't argue against Jacobs. So I'll give you that. The Raiders haven't been that good against the run. You have to have interest in Pierce. At Breece Hall, now he's going against the Denver team that, like, there's a lot of things going wrong in your city there, Holden. But I would say their defense really hasn't been that bad, and their ability to stop the run hasn't been that bad. I played him the last 3-4 weeks. This might be the week that I'm definitely lowering his projection, and he might end up out of the player pool altogether. What have you heard, Holden, about Melvin Gordon? Because I'm sitting here.
I mean, he's going to start, but that's a shit show. Don't play any Denver running backs.
Not
even in
any
Showdown. It's just
even in Showdown.
I'm serious. Gordon could start, and Latavius can get 60% of the catches or the touches. It's just a mess. The head coach is literally clueless. This is outside of a guy by the name of Jim Zorn, who was the head coach of the Washington Redskins for 2 seasons, who ultimately Dan Snyder's in the news these days. He basically told Dan Snyder to fuck himself when he ran 2 swinging gate plays. If you don't know what a swinging gate play is, it's absolutely ridiculous. I recommend that you look it up. This guy is the second most incompetent coach I've ever seen.
Jim Zorn was way better than Hackett.
I don't think he was.
He was a great quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks back in the day.
Yeah, he was a quarterback,
No
but
shit,
as a coach.
there's sun out there, Soto. No shit.
Oh,
Soto
no.
just misplayed a ball in the sun, and he's looking up. He's got sunglasses on. He misplays a double, and he looks up and points to the sun. Well, no shit. That's why you got sunglasses on.
He didn't
dumbass.
have his sunglasses down, or he did?
Yeah, he had them down, and he
Oh.
still pointed up there.
I mean, shit happens, but
Sorry.
boy.
JT Hayes, always all over it, I tell you.
This is what happens when we record early in the afternoon. You get the baseball tilt in addition to the football takes.
Yeah, in addition to sober Holden, it's wild stuff. Today.
Yeah, it's
It's
just
like
not
a different
good.
program. It's
Yeah.
a completely different program.
Yeah, it is a completely different program. There's no doubt about it. Wide receiver time. There's just a lot to sift through here. I don't think Keenan Allen plans on playing. It sounded very, very unlikely. And I know Mike Williams hurt some people's feelings last week, but he also had Pat Surtain all over him. And I would say that is going to happen to a lot of wide receivers against the Broncos. So keep that in mind. But Mike Williams against Seattle, you would think he's going to be popular this week, right? But maybe not as popular as he should be. I'm just looking down the list here. Ayuk's coming off a big game. I have a hard time thinking you guys are going to go to him. Lockett and Metcalf with Seattle has got to be in the mix there. If Dak is back, would you trust Michael Gallup? A cheap price. looking spries at 5'1", though. He's kind of like in no man's land. Talk to me here, Uncle T. These are just some of the wide receivers that are staring at. Maybe the guy to go to is CD Lamb instead of Gallup. CD's just 6'8".
Yeah, I was going to mention that, but let me get to some of these other guys first. Up top, you got Devontae Adams off of the bye week. I think the Raiders will be able to run all over Houston. So I'm a little unsure on how I want to handle this game on a Wednesday afternoon here, because you got the smash spot for Jacobs. And then I also think that Carr in the passing game is also in a good spot. So I'm going to need to really look a little bit further into this game in particular as the week unfolds. But Jamar Chase, 8,200. I'm just going to keep playing him. He's got double-digit targets in 4 of his 6 games, and you can make the argument. Again, I watch every one of their games closely. You can make the argument that he's getting under-targeted. I mean, I think they could throw the ball to him, especially early in the game, much more often and much more frequently than they do, and that's really been the reason that Zach Taylor and the Bengals have gotten behind in so many of these games in the first and second quarter and have to try to come from behind. They just don't want to open up this offense. And when they have, good things have happened. So I do like him here in this spot against Atlanta. The weather here, guys, this weekend, I know it's on Wednesday, but I do have it's been in the 40s the last couple of days. It's going to be back in the mid 70s this weekend, all the way through the weekend into Monday. So you're going to get really good weather here. It's just something to make a note of. It is going to be great weather conditions here in Cincinnati. I do like Jamar Chase quite a bit here. Going down, I do like that Holden. Mike Williams, it's a nice bounce back spot. I already like Herbert, like I mentioned earlier. Love targeting Big Mike here. 7,200, I think is, it's a fair tag, but I think it might even be a couple $100 too cheap. So I do like him. Going down a little bit, like you said, CD Lamb. If Dak is in, I do like CD. If you're not worried about salary, if you need to save a couple bucks, you can go down to Gallup, but I would prefer CD. And then going down a little bit more, you got guys in the low 6Ks like a Mari Cooper against Baltimore, 6,100. You got Lazard, 6,100. Again, I think I might have a share or two of A-Rod here. Lazard against Washington feels pretty good. And then one guy I'll mention all the way down to the cheap range, Alec Pierce, 4,600, I think is too cheap. He's been really good the last couple of weeks. And if you need a cheap piece to fill in at wide receiver, 4,600 feels too cheap in this matchup against Tennessee for Pierce.
All right, JT. Why don't you start with Mike Williams? He has let us down quite a bit, but this week, a beautiful matchup. And I don't know who really is out of play when it comes to the Chargers this week. Like Eckler's got to be the number 1 overall play, at least in my estimation. He is. What about wide receiver though?
Yeah. So if you're reading, or I shouldn't say reading, if you're listening or watching to this is your one and only indication. Actually, there are going to be multiple indications that Holden does not listen to anything we fucking say.
Yeah.
He completely tunes us out when we're speaking. Report as of less than 14 hours ago is that Keenan Allen is on track to play. And what I said earlier, Holden, for you, I'll repeat it just because.
But he's not.
He is on track to play.
Hey, but you didn't. That was 14 hours ago, ding dong.
That is the most, okay.
He just said just now. Hold on, let me go find exactly.
Is that what happened?
Let me say exactly what he said. Keenan Allen, if he wants to take one more game to let the hamstring heal. Yeah, most definitely. It's going to be a thought process going into it. Definitely want to play the smartest way. That's what it's going to be. It did not sound like he was very optimistic that he was going to play this week. So I will go back to Mike Williams. And I'll also tell you that fuck you, you fucking cunt.
Well, Holden, to be fair, you found that under the hashtag Free Britney. So that's why we missed it.
You know what's funny? I did.
It came up in his search for Britney Spears news.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah, listen, unfortunately, so for me, when I hear the team saying that he's likely to play, he's on track to play, and then the player comes out and says, I don't know, one of two things. One, for sure, it's a murky situation that we're going to have to watch throughout the week. If Allen is in, we'll have to hear what he says at the end.
You take your L already?
Yes, no. Why? Because
he ain't going to fucking play. He says.
That's, first of all, you could take that comment a million ways. Yeah, we're going to play it smart. I don't trust these guys, right? So,
okay.
If Allen is out, we'll play it your way. We'll play by your rules.
No, if Allen doesn't play, then Holden cannot browse the internet on next week's show.
I mean, we're gonna have someone go to his house.
No,
Let's
if
see
he
how
does
much he
play.
really believes it.
I think he's not going to play.
I mean, yeah, if he does play, excuse me.
If Allen does not play, I'll be yes, you could have interest in Williams. I'll be much more interested in Eckler. So I would move Eckler up my board there if Allen is out. I think it was Spread who mentioned Dak Prescott coming back. We talked about that a little bit. I like CD and Gallup in that matchup. I think you can double stack there. I actually prefer T. Higgins this week at 6'4". AJ Terrell has done a good job against wide receiver ones. I know Chase is special, but they faced a bunch of these guys. Debo Samuel, they shut down. That's why Ayuk had the big day. So I like T. Higgins there. I like Adams, like Uncle T mentioned. And also, I think you can double stack there. Hunter Renfrow in his second game back, he's just 4'9". I think people are going to be off of this Tampa Bay passing attack, but I like the prices for Godwin and Evans in a matchup against the team that, like we said, is in total disarray. Alan Lazard, 6'1" against the Commanders, like that price. DK Metcalf, you guys talked about at 6'6". If I was going to play someone on Indianapolis in the passing game, it would be Pierce, who Uncle T mentioned. Outside of that, not a whole lot in terms of high interest guys. I think, you maybe could look at Brandon Cooks at 6K flat as a bring back in that Las Vegas Houston game.
All right, Spread, let's go. Wide receiver, give us a couple names.
I like almost everyone here, so I figured this would be easier if I said the guys that I don't like.
Good.
I'm worried about Amon-Ra St. Brown here at 7,100. He could kill it, but I think there's so many better options there, or right around the same price tag. And Holden, your guy, Cortland Sutton, is sitting here at 6,200. Look at what these New York Jets defensive backs have done. Sauce Gardner and the other young man, I can't remember his name, but they're just fantastic on the corners. And if you look, after the Chargers benched J.C. Jackson last week, Russell couldn't do anything. So it was like they had one little thing, he exploited it, they took it away, and they went back to being completely inept. So those are the two I'm going to stay away from. But boy, I love all these wide receiver options this week. And I think how you decide on your wide receivers, and if you nail those, that's going to be the difference between cashing and not.
Yeah, I think you were talking about DJ Reed, right? He's the other kid that was there.
That's his name. Yeah. I mean, their new corners are just fantastic, and they're allowing the pass rush, which it's not a bad pass rush, but it's not the best pass rush, but they're getting coverage sacks. I mean, everything about this New York secondary is just awesome.
You'll like it. Okay. And I'm going to disagree with you on Amon-Ra, especially if that game is up tempo and a shootout, he's going to just eat.
Dallas's defense is going to shut the Lions down, just like the last game.
All right.
When the Patriots
I think more than that.
I mean, because they're going to get pressure. It doesn't matter who's covering them.
We talked about outside, like with Matt Ryan. I feel the same way with Goff. Like he has to be in a dome to even consider.
Isn't it the same thing?
Huh? When you're outdoors and a dome,
they're playing in Dallas. Like
when you're outdoors, the
weather. No, but isn't Dallas essentially like being inside? Isn't it?
It is indoors. It's a dome.
Good hustle, Juan.
Oh, okay. I understand your point. Excuse me.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that.
Good hustle, Juan. Just jogged after a foul ball now. Sit his ass on the bench.
He's Juan Soto is one of the most disappointing players. He is the most disappointing player of the year. I mean, he whined his way out of Washington, and then he looks like shit with the Padres, and now he's loafing off looking directly into the sun. Like,
he's a generational talent, though, Holden.
He is a generational talent. He's a generational talent that's acting like a schmuck.
A generational clown.
Oh, settle down.
Uncle
Tight end.
Uncle T is livid.
Yeah, Uncle T is.
We're going to get some good content today.
Yeah. It's always good content. It's always good content. Tight end, Mr. T. Kelsey. Yeah. Andrews missed practice, by the way. He's got I think it's a knee there. And then if you wanted to go down, I'm sure there's some options, but talk to us, Uncle T.
Yeah, I think this is week, what is it? 6 or 7, whatever hell week it is. We talk about it every week at the tight end. If you want to pay off for Kelsey and Andrews, you can make whatever argument on either side. Clearly, they're two great plays almost every week, but they are pricey, right? $8K for Kelsey, $7,400 for Andrews. You go down into the low 5K range. You got Waller 54, Kittle 53, and then you go under 5. So it's pretty simple, pretty much every week. If you want to build that's, that's going to favor the tight ends and they crush, and that you will need them, but at 8K and 7,400, you're going to need them. You can't have them get 12 points at 8K. You're not going to get there. So I would much rather, at least again on this Wednesday afternoon, much rather go down low. One guy I actually liked that showed some signs of life last week was George Kittle, albeit against Atlanta.
Mhm.
I think he got 10 targets, which was, his tops on the year. But 5,300 in this matchup against Kansas City at home, I feel like he can, do something similar last week. And I think he can get in the box and get us maybe 15 to 20 fantasy points this week. So I like George Kittle quite a bit. And cover your ears, JT, but I kind of like Kyle Pitts, 4,300. He finally got in the box last week. He didn't get, the targets and the yardage, but he did get in the box. And I just generally like targeting tight ends against this Bengals defense. They've always, they seem to treat me pretty well when I've done it. I like Kyle Pitts, 4,300 against Cincinnati. One other guy is Everett, 4K against Seattle. Again, we've talked about that game quite a bit here on this show, but I do like the Chargers offense in this game, and Everett at 4K, I like him. And then in the opposite side of the Atlanta Cincinnati game, Hayden Hurst, 3,500 feels pretty cheap in that matchup. That I do think that the total right now is sitting at 47.5. Spread, I think that total, again, but due to the weather being really good, I look for that game to maybe go up as far as the total as the week progresses.
JT.
Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, I'll be interested to see how that turns out. We'll let JT break down the tight ends, but I'll keep that in mind on the totals. We did the playbook here, but we might have to put that note in there. And we'll go ahead and add that in today.
I think I saw that total has come up a little, right? Atlanta, Cincinnati. Yeah. I'll start with Kittle, who Uncle T mentioned. He did get the 10 targets last week. That was good to see in a good environment. He should have a good environment again this week. So he's interesting at 5.3. Hayden Hurst, I like that price for him, 3.5 in a very good matchup. Dalton Schultz may be back. If he's back, he's just 3.6, and he'll have Dak back. And that is very good for him and his opportunity. Just a note on Las Vegas. Waller is questionable with a hamstring, and Foster Moreau, the backup, is questionable with a knee. If both of them miss, it just is going to elevate my interest in Adams, Jacobs, Renfro so much more, because even though they don't get a lot of targets, that they haven't this year, it'll just condense them even further. Wait and see on Andrews.
Real quick, JT, since we're talking about the Raiders, like Renfro's ADOT is like 3.5 yards. It just like at this point, it's just a little dark, guy. So if he's gone, what do you need out of Renfro? Like 8 catches?
Well, he's missed. So that's a small sample. That's based on, like, I think it's two
games.
Right? So he's 4.9 on DraftKings. So if you're looking at double stack, and you've got, no tight ends there, right? Because Jasper Horsted is going to get his 1 or 2 targets. Then I think he makes sense. I'm not going to play Hunter Renfrow as a one-off, but if you're looking to go with 2 receivers, then I think he makes sense there. Kelsey at 8K. Man, I mean, I know he's a wide receiver 1. He's getting all the targets, so it's just a tough price point there, but you can make it work this week. Cade Otton, 2.7 for the Buccaneers, with Cameron Brate likely to miss multiple games here. I think that's interesting. TJ Hawkinson coming off a bad game where Bill Belichick did the expected and shut down the top guys for Detroit. He's 4.8. We got to talk about the guy that we got on the Showdown, the Print Factory show on Monday, thanks to Cito and Chris Randone. Greg Dulcich, 2.5K in a matchup against the Jets. I won't play many Broncos, but at 2.5, he came in and immediately 41 snaps, becomes likely the number 1 guy for the Broncos. And then really that's about it for me at tight end.
Then they didn't even bother throwing to him again. They're like, second most explosive player on the field. Let's just not give the ball to Dulcich. Spread, tight end.
All right. Yeah, I'm not spending up again. Just want to throw in on JT's point. Yeah, if those guys miss, 2 weeks ago, McDaniels just put a 6th offensive lineman at that tight end position and just used him as blocking guy. whether it's pass protection or running play. So he does have a great point there. If those guys miss, they actually are just taking a tight end off the field, makes the skill position players more valuable. Keep an eye on that. There's 3 guys because I want to go value here, and they're the same 3s that we've been targeting. Bellinger, why would I not continue to go back to this guy? He's probably the second best weapon that Daniel Jones has right now, and I'm getting him for 3,400. Uncle T talked about it before, but it's not like an 8K or a 7.4 where I'm completely dependent on him going off. I can get there with him going short, and then I want to do basically coin flip here with my 2 Tampa Bay tight ends, either Cameron Brake or Cade Otton. Brate's at 3,000, On's at 2,700. I think they're both good plays at that price tag, and they can both get you there.
All right, very good. We can bullshit about defense another day. So let us leave you with that. Comments below would be great. What's that?
Just play the Jets.
Yeah, just play the no shit. Play the Jets. Whether it's Wilson or Brett Rippon, just play the Jets this week. 2-6. And bet the under in that game. Although it's down to 38 now, but neither one of these teams are going to score. It's going to be ugly. All right. Uncle T, wonderful to see you. JT, wonderful to see you. Spread, wonderful to see you. Thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and get us out of here, Simon, even though you're not listening. Huh?
The body count.
Yeah, body count. Bye, Simon. Get us out of here.